Hello beautiful people, welcome back or welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be reading a week of Kindle Unlimited only. There's a couple reasons I wanted to do this. One, because I wanted to see if Kindle Unlimited is really worth it. Because I just got my Kindle in February, I started to pay for Kindle Unlimited, and I feel like in February, I got a good amount of use out of Kindle Unlimited for my money. I think I read one Kindle Unlimited book in March. Honestly, March was a bad reading month for this year, and I want to see if it's really worth paying for it every month, especially when there's options like Libby. Is using Kindle Unlimited really worth my money and my time? But I also wanted to do this because I'm paying for Kindle Unlimited. I need a reason to be reading on my Kindle, especially when I'm working on my physical TBR. I don't really want to focus on reading on my Kindle, but making a video like this will make me focus on using my Kindle Unlimited. So we're going to be reading Kindle Unlimited for 1 week and see what we think. Is it worth it? How many books can I read in a week when I'm doing Kindle Unlimited versus, how I would normally read? Like probably 2 books a week, 3 books a week on a good week, when it's a physical copy. The first book of the week is The Fake Date by L.H. Stacy. This is a murder mystery, thriller novel, but it's also got a good chunk of romance in it, which is a little surprising when you're going in thinking you're reading a mystery thriller novel. I started to read this novel technically yesterday on the plane on my way here. I'm currently in Germany, and I did finish this book already. I finished it on the plane. I read it in one sitting. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5 star rating, which, again, I've said this before, that is still a good rating in my book. I would recommend it. I think that it was a good novel. I definitely was second guessing who the killer was, which doesn't normally happen for me. I can usually pinpoint who the murderer is pretty early on, but I will say it did have me thrown for a loop once or twice. I also was very happily surprised that romance is a large subplot of this novel because I wasn't expecting that going into it. I normally gravitate toward romances, especially when it comes to Kindle Unlimited books. So I wanted to branch out and read a mystery/thriller novel, which I do love. I just don't pick them up very often. But I thought the plane ride was the perfect time for that. I would even say this could be like a 3.75 star, which is super annoying, which is why I'm saying 3.5, possibly 4 star. The reason that I wouldn't necessarily call this book a 4 or a 5 star is that it's marketed as a psychological thriller, like totally gripping psychological thriller. Like, I think that's the tagline on Kindle Unlimited. And there is some psychological thriller bits, but not to an extent that I would say that it is like the best psychological thriller. I wouldn't really even call it that. I mean, I think that this book is more of a romance that has a really intense subplot of mystery thriller, and that's not a bad thing. I just can't really give it more than a 3.5, 3.75 star rating because it's not supposed to be a romance. It's supposed to be thriller, and I got more from the romance than I did from the mystery, if you know what I mean. So I would recommend it if you do have Kindle Unlimited. I think that it is worth the read, but I don't know if I would necessarily say you should go out of your way to pay money for it. And I feel like that is so mean to say because obviously the author worked really hard on this book, but I don't want to tell people to read something where they're gonna have to spend a good amount of money on the book, and then it not be great. But for a Kindle Unlimited read, I will take it. Honestly, not that bad. I had a good time reading it on the plane. I didn't think I'd want to read on the plane because, I thought I'd be really tired. And I mean, I still haven't slept. I haven't slept in like 24 hours. It definitely will have been over 24 hours by the time I go to bed tonight because I'm trying to stay awake until it's nighttime in Germany so that I don't get crazy jet lag, ruin my sleep, all that, And even though I've been up, I've been, traveling, struggling, I still wanted to continually pick up this book because I wanted to know who done it you know, and I wanted to figure out the conclusions, so I would say it is still a good read. I think the second book that we're gonna read for this video is gonna be The Traitor Queen, which is the second book in the Bridge Kingdom series, just because I read the Bridge Kingdom in March, and I feel like I should get on with the rest of the series because otherwise I'll forget what happened. So I think we're gonna work on The Traitor Queen and see how far I get with that this week. Hey guys, I wanted to check in with you about what I've been reading this week. I haven't really chatted with you guys. I just haven't had a ton of time. I am traveling at the moment, but it has been a week of me reading Kindle Unlimited books, and I'd like to go through what I read, if it was worth it. I did finish The Traitor Queen and I rated it 5 stars. I also rated The Bridge Kingdom 5 stars. So for me, that is a 5-star series. Absolutely recommend, 100%, super good. There's 2 more books in that series. They're spin-offs of other characters' love stories, I believe. So I would like to start reading those soon. After finishing Traitor Queen, I still had some time on the train, so I decided to pick up a short story. It was Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jimenez, which is part of a I think it's called Meet Cute collection, which is short romance stories. They're anywhere from like 40 to probably like 100 pages. This one was about 60 pages. And since it's so short, I don't really feel like I should rate it. It just doesn't feel fair, but I did really enjoy the writing style. The story did kind of pull at my heartstrings a little bit. It was very sweet. Would recommend that. I would like to read more in the Meet Cute collection as well. They're just like little short romances by some of the most popular romance authors at the moment, like Abby Jimenez, Christina Lauren, Ashley Poston. So I would recommend that. I also want to say the end of Traitor Queen. I was on the train reading Traitor Queen, and the end of it, I was trying so hard not to cry in public. It was really hard, but I made it not crying because it was just really like emotional and like kind of stressful. You're like waiting to see how, you know, how everything works out. And then I still had time after finishing Worst Wingman Ever, because that took me, you know, it took me like 20 minutes to read, maybe less, maybe like 15 minutes. So I started The Spare Room by Laura Starkey, and I just finished that yesterday on the train. And I'm rating The Spare Room 4 stars. The Spare Room is about a woman who's been with a guy for almost 10 years. She's ready for him to propose, to possibly have kids, to look on to the next step of her life. And then he's like, I'm out. I don't want to do this long relationship anymore. But a new tenant had moved in upstairs. When he decides that he wants to get some renovations done on his apartment, he moves into her spare bedroom. So it's got vibes of like the flat share, but they actually talk. It's not note passing, or maybe similar to like My Roommate's a Vampire kind of situation, where they're kind of like they talk here and there, but they're not super close for a while, and then they start to get closer, right? That's as much as I'll give. There's a ton of cute little like anecdotes, and they talk a lot about like Jane Austen movies and novels that it's a really cute story. The only thing for me that wouldn't make it a 5-star is that for the most part of the story, we see them pining but not actually being together. And that's not a spoiler. We all know who's gonna get together in the end. But for the most part, it's a lot of pining and wishing to be with this person, but you're just waiting for the ball to drop. While it made for a good story, and I was hooked the entire time trying to like wait for the ball to drop, you know, I still wanted more of their romance together. So that's why it makes it a 4-star for me, but I would still recommend it, especially if you have Kindle Unlimited. If you're using Kindle Unlimited, you might as well, you might as well check out some of these books. I guess as well, while I'm kind of concluding the books that I read, the first book that I read in this video was The Fake Day by L.H. Stacy, and I rated that a 4-star. It was a supposedly psychological thriller romance kind of, but to me it wasn't very psychological thriller. It was more of a murder mystery, heavily relied on a romance subplot. And over the span of this, what I'm calling a week, it was about a week, accumulative, but I'm traveling, so there wasn't a ton of downtime during my travels to read, just where I could find the time. I read 3 full novels and 1 short story. If I was at home, I definitely would have been able to read more. I think that it can be true that reading on a Kindle is faster than reading physical copies, just because you're not really seeing the physical amount of pages you have to finish, so you're not really like Like for me, when I read a physical book, I'm constantly calculating the amount of pages I have until the end. But on Kindle, you have to go the extra step of clicking on the screen, looking down at the bottom to see how many pages you have left. And some books don't even have the pages that are left, like pages, like you're 30 pages out of 120. Like some books don't have that on Kindle, for some reason. So I do think that it can be faster to read on Kindle. So if you guys want to see me do a part 2 of this video, maybe doing paperback versus Kindle and do like a week of each in the same video and see how many I read, let me know down in the comments. I think that would be really fun to do. I would love to do a part 2 if you guys are interested, to kind of show you guys if I do think that Kindle Unlimited is worth it. I mean, for me, now that I've started to post on YouTube, I would say it's worth it so that I can review more books for you guys than I would be able to if I had to buy them all physical copy, because books are expensive and they do add up quickly. I would say it's definitely worth it for book creators so that we can have more options to read and have a broader amount of books and genres that we can review for people. But I think if, let's say, you read 3 to 4 books in a week on Kindle Unlimited, you could be reading at least 12 books a month, if not more. Kindle Unlimited books, you can find some short ones, you could read through them really fast, you could find some longer ones. There's also a feature where you can have the book's audio version with the physical copy, which I absolutely love because I don't really like to have to pay for a book and the audio version if I want to listen to it from time to time. And a lot of the times on Libby, things are booked out weeks and weeks at a time, and so that can be really nice. So overall, I think that Kindle Unlimited being worth it really depends on your reading style. Like if you have a lot of time where you're on the go, a Kindle is bringing your Kindle with you is a lot easier than bringing paperback books or hardback books. If you're on the go constantly, a Kindle can be a lot easier to bring with you than paperbacks or hardcover books. And if you're like somebody that works but you have time at lunch to read, or you have small breaks at work where you could read, a Kindle I feel like would definitely be worth it if you could slip it into your purse or your backpack or something, or if you have downtime at school or time in between classes in college. A Kindle is great. You can just go sit somewhere and read for a while. Even if you just want to hang out, you go to a park, a cafe, you know, you could lay in your bed. I find Kindle a lot easier to read on when I'm trying to lay down or relax in a comfy chair than trying to read a physical book. It can be really uncomfortable to hold sometimes. Though I still love physical copies of books, I don't think I'll ever go completely digital with reading. I just always love to have physical copies of books and read them from time to time as well when I do have the ability to have them with me, when I don't have to travel around with them. So I guess this video is more just a reading weekly vlog than me actually telling you if Kindle Unlimited is worth it, because I think it definitely varies person to person if Kindle Unlimited would be worth it for you. I think if you're on the go, if you like the comfort of it holding a Kindle rather than a book, if you're gonna make an effort to read a couple books a week or a dozen books in a month, then I think Kindle Unlimited could definitely be worth it. Overall, I really enjoyed this week of reading. I think that reading on my Kindle gave me a ton of options. If I started a book and I just really wasn't into the story or the writing style, I could switch to another book without having a physical copy of a book that I just don't like and have to DNF. And let me know again in the comments below if you guys want me to do a Kindle versus physical copy book. I would love to do that for you guys, and I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.